Explosive allegations of lies and a cover-up are emerging, along with a lawsuit in the electrocution death of a Kent woman and her 2 dogs 6 years ago.
CTV's Michelle Murrow investigates concerns that a live power line may have come down on a popular walking area and with deadly consequences. And a warning tonight, some of the images in this story may be disturbing to some viewers.
It happened in this area of Harrison Mills. It was October 18th, 2015. But for the family of Shirley Nate, the loss is still painful.
You're not thinking you're taking your dogs for a walk down, that this is going to happen to someone, you know?
60-year-old Nate was electrocuted by a downed power line near Kilby Park.
People heard screams at the campground, and she was on fire apparently.
As witnesses rushed to help, Nate's family says she warned them to stay back.
She saved a lot of people that day. She's my hero. She's always been my hero.
Badly burned, she faced multiple surgeries. Both arms were amputated.
Oh, she fought. She fought, yeah.
She fought for 5 weeks but did not survive. Now, years later, her family is calling for a new police investigation into her death after explosive allegations surfaced involving the District of Kent.
It's been covered up. It's been covered up.
In 2015, Dave Morris worked in Kent's Public Works Department.
Right along this area here is where the line was down.
He alleges the district knew about a downed power line, and it was raised in a staff meeting 2 days before the accident.
The power line discussion was that there was no power to the pump house, and the power line was down. Apparently, we heard somebody had phoned in there was a line down.
This man, who CTV agreed not to identify, was in the same meeting and says the issue was raised toward the end of the meeting.
He said that he had received a call from someone in Kilby who had notified him that there was a tree that had come down in the windstorm and had taken out a power line.
But the men claim after Nate's electrocution, the district tried to cover up what it knew, holding meetings with public works staff. A source provided an audio recording of what they say occurred in one of those meetings.
Information we had that a tree was down the dike. We did not have any information that hydro lines were down. So I just wanted to be clear, because there's, I'm hearing stuff through other sources about people talking about what we had said at this meeting. There has to be an investigation, and we just need to be understanding that during that investigation we have to be careful with what we say.
Instead of just accepting responsibility for it, instead they put us all in a position where we were told to lie about it.
The men say they told RCMP what happened in those meetings. The BC prosecution confirms police investigating Nate's death forwarded a report, but no charges were approved. The Crown would not say what charges were recommended or whether they involved the district. CTV contacted the District of Kent, but they said they had no comment due to civil litigation. That litigation, a lawsuit from Nate's parents against the district and BC Hydro, alleging Kent became aware of the downed power lines before the plaintiff was injured and failed to take adequate action. In court documents, Kent has denied all allegations and claims BC Hydro is responsible. BC Hydro says in a statement it actively participated in the RCMP's investigation and was found not responsible for the incident, adding the downed line was spotted by a member of the public around October 15th, 2015. The line may have been reported to the operators of the historic site, who then reported it to the District of Kent instead of BC Hydro, meaning the down line was spotted on a Friday and Nate was electrocuted 2 days later on the Sunday.
This should never have happened to anybody.
6 years later, the family is still grieving.
Sometimes I feel that she's looking after me. I just feel it.
And wondering if they will ever know the truth. Michelle Murrow, CTV News, Agassiz.
More troubling questions and new information is surfacing tonight in the electrocution death of a Kent woman and her dog 6 years ago. This after a CTV investigation revealed allegations of lies and a cover-up and concerns a live power line may have come down days before the accident. Here's CTV's Michelle Murrow with what the District of Kent is saying and the latest on a family's fight to get answers.
One by one, flowers were laid down at a small gathering to mark 6 years since the death of Shirley Nate.
People need to know that this will never happen again.
Nate and her dogs were electrocuted by a downed power line in a field near a popular walking area in Kent, October 18, 2015. Severely burned, she died 5 weeks later. One of those at the vigil was Richard Cruz, who works at Kilby Historic Site. He is also the author of this document provided to CTV by a source who alleges it's the occurrence report written by Cruz for his employer. The document claims Cruz contacted the District of Kent about a downed line days before Nate was electrocuted. The document states Cruz was approached by a man October 14, 2015, who reported a power line being down, although the man said it was a dead power line and not dangerous, and that he knew this because he had handled the line. The report goes on to say that on Thursday, October 15th, Cruz contacted Agassiz Public Works to report that Richard Cruz had a gentleman report a downed power line on the dike that runs beside the Kilby campground. Nate was electrocuted 3 days later on the Sunday. Both Cruz and his employer declined an on-camera interview with CTV.
We're just in shock in what we're hearing. It's very disturbing.
It's not the first disturbing piece of information that's emerged since Nate's death.
Right along this area here.
Dave Morris worked in Kent's Public Works Department in 2015. He, along with a man who CTV has agreed not to identify, also alleged the district knew about the downed power line, and it was raised in a staff meeting on a Friday, 2 days before the accident.
It's been covered up. It's been covered up.
The men claim after Nate's electrocution, the district tried to cover up what it knew, holding meetings with public works staff. A source provided an audio recording of what they say occurred in one of those meetings.
On, I believe it was Friday, I had a call from Richard, the guy that works at Kilby. He told me, oh, by the way, there's a tree down on your dike. He only mentioned the tree at that point. No mention of any downed wires or anything like that.
In response to CTV's report last week, the District of Kent, which initially refused to comment, released a statement saying, in part, that preceding the incident, the district's public works staff were made aware of downed trees in the area, not power lines. The statement also says the district denies all claims that staff were told to lie by management and says staff were told to provide the facts, not their opinions, adding that the district has fully cooperated in the investigation with the RCMP. Nate's parents have filed a lawsuit against the district and BC Hydro. Both Kent and Hydro have denied any wrongdoing. RCMP investigating Nate's death had forwarded a report to the Crown, but no charges were approved. Neither RCMP nor the Crown will say what charges were recommended or whether they involved the District of Kent. CTV requested an interview with RCMP. They refused, saying there was a thorough investigation and there is no new evidence. The Public Safety Minister also not willing to be interviewed. I understand this is a matter before the courts and therefore cannot speak directly to it.
We're just dumbfounded, and it's really hard to get answers from anybody. We're just at a brick wall.
Meanwhile, an online petition has begun asking for a coroner's inquest into Nate's death. Her sister says an inquest may be the only way to find out what happened.
It's got to be closure on this. Let my sister rest in peace.
Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Agassiz.